entire beat?
I thought it was good, man.
Right.
Like, look, I've engaged and always involved myself in those situations, big, and I think it always made bigger excitement in our culture. Like that type of thing would make a person buy the record twice.
Right.
It would make like
so you know how to use it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like that. Even me and Kanye, like we'd have issues, but we were standing there like we was in a fight pose.
Yeah.
For the picture, you know what I mean? Like,
and that was the week, the first sales week.
Yeah.
And both of y'all sold.
Yes. And then you're going, look, at the end of the day, Vic, you're going, I could have went on tour with him if I wanted to combat that win.
Right.
Because I had so many records that were hit records at that point that I would have smashed. He only had that album.
Right. What do you think this is with Drake and Kendrick?
No, I think it's a point where you win repeatedly to the audience, and even the artist community is going, if you win again, how am I have my chance to win? So they would rather see Kendrick in that slot,
right?
And Drake, you get out of here.
Damn,
that's really the way it goes. But like, you think what he's saying, the system's done. They done it. They're guilty of what he said they did. Like where I'm at Interscope, they are G Unit and G Unit at the same time.
Right, gotcha. Wow.
On the same system, big. The same person delivering the record telling you to play 50 Cent is delivering the record saying play game.
Wow.
And it's just business. They're looking at it like it's business. It's selling the record. But everything that they said that they did for Kendrick is something they did for him.
What did you say to Drake, if you don't mind my asking? Because you guys were somewhere and it looked like y'all were having a conversation.
Yeah. I said, they said you lost to Pusha T. So what did you lose? And he said nothing. I said, so I don't understand.
Right.
You should understand, like whenever you say you lost something, he said, what exactly did you lose? If you take a step back, there's nothing lost. There's nobody who's just a Drake fan that won't go out to see his show right now.
Man, we say that all the time. We say that all the time.
Yeah. So it's just to be active. You get out there, do your thing.
How do you feel about beef in general?
I like it.
Yeah, I know.
We can tell.
No. I grew up under circumstances where it is not optional. It's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? And then you going, look, battling has always been a part of hip hop culture. If you're not competing, look, we hit a spot where business is so present that he looked at it and said, well, that's defamation of character because it's not true. It's a false statement. All right, and I'm like, you know how many false statements were in battle records?
Yeah. What did you feel about the lawsuit when you heard the lawsuit being announced?
I thought it was to combat the
Super Bowl.
Yeah, because that would reignite it big or make it. The song would make it exciting, make it go up again.
And months down the line too.
Yeah, but the suit itself, I don't think you think about it. But when the lawsuit comes out, it ignites the record. It goes up.
Right.
I didn't realize that his album was coming.
Right.
Kendrick's album was coming right when that lawsuit fell, and it was like,
yeah, there we go.
It spiked up anyway. So
is it different when we look at hip hop?
The world of hip hop often thrives on drama, but recent events involving Jay-Z and Seeing Diddy Combs have reached another level entirely. Rumors, allegations, and leaked details have taken the internet by storm, with a prison phone call between these two legends at the heart of the chaos. Careers, reputations, and even personal freedom are on the line. Let's break down this intense story of loyalty, survival, and betrayal.
If there's a lawsuit there, from a beef though, you know what I'm saying?
Nah,
like, because you beef with Fat Joe, Ja Rule, Buster. Have you ever got a lawsuit?
No. Okay, you always get other stuff like behind the scenes stuff. You know what I mean? Like, but not public lawsuits or things like that. Like they've said for me, mine was so street orientated that you're a rat.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
And weird. That's defamation right there. But then the judge that you would be in front of would look and say, so you're like those criminals that I put away. Because you feel offended by someone calling you a rat. The traditional person, they're not in that lifestyle. Rat means yes.
Right.
911, their defense to you hitting them over there, you hit them. Come get this nigga. Hello? Come get him. He hit me, yeah. Don't act like you didn't do it.
Right.
Like that is no ratting for them. They're like, what? You better behave yourself.
Can you understand from a business part and the bigger scheme what this lawsuit is from Drake?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's because it does feel like when you're in negotiations, it'll feel like your value went down. Like not as hot as you was last week when everybody was excited. And saying it feels different. Like, like they saying you lost. Like you get a phone call, even you're like, yo, you guys created the largest sales week in hip hop. And I'm like, yeah, but I lost.
Right.
Get off my phone.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I get this call from Steve Berman. They run Interscope now. But they like at that point.
And this is when you and Kanye were going?
Yeah.
You
gotta get the call. You go, what did you make? Get the fuck off my phone.
Because when you look at it with the sales with you and Kanye, like y'all went on this whole who's gonna sell, and that first week Kanye did sell more.
Yeah.
But looking at the numbers, y'all won.
Yeah.
No, but you were like, nah.
Big, look. From a sales history, I have the sales history. Interscope didn't do everything Def Jam done for Kanye's number to come back like that. They assumed because they didn't do everything to protect Drake. Because they assume Kendrick and this will be just like anything else that happens. Do you understand? Like they did everything he's saying they did in that lawsuit. They did it.
So you feel like it's valid on that point? Like, yeah, they did that.
I understand why you would do that if you was talking to a lawyer, but like in hip hop,
right?
Like there's nothing to sue for. There's nothing that I didn't sue for that.
Is anything off boundaries when it comes to beef?
No.
Nothing's out of bounds?
Nah.
What about going to their home city and putting on a full concert? Like Kendrick's going to Toronto for 2 nights.
Imagine being Jay-Z, one of the most influential figures in music and business, a billionaire, husband to Beyonce, and father of 3. Then, out of nowhere, your name gets tied to a shocking accusation. A lawsuit claims involvement in a serious crime, with Diddy also implicated. This isn't just another tabloid headline. It's a situation that could change everything, and based on the leaked call making waves online, Jay-Z's way of handling the crisis is far from ordinary.
To Jay-Z and Diddy. Now, we knew that Diddy was facing all sorts of criminal charges and tons of civil suits, and my God, like I can't even keep track of the number of things that have been alleged against Sean Combs or P. Diddy. But here he is in this picture with Jay-Z, who is also known as Beyonce's husband. And now Jay-Z's been dragged into one civil suit by one of the Diddy accusers. And this now 30-something-year-old woman, I think she's 37 now, who claims that she was 13 years old at the time this happened to her, has filed a lawsuit through this lawyer who's suing P. Diddy in many cases. Like, this guy's going to build a summer home based on what he hopes to recover in his lawsuits.
Or 3 summer homes.
3. So he says that he's got this woman who, when she was 13 years old, she went to the VMA Awards in New York City, like by herself, looking to get in and meet celebrities. Not surprisingly, she says she couldn't get in. She says she decided to chat up the limo drivers waiting for the celebs outside, and that one of them said to her something to the effect of, "You look like Diddy's type." And that then she was brought back to Diddy's house after the VMA Awards at Rock Center in Manhattan in the year 2000. And that there she was raped. Not only, she was given something that made her feel drugged, a drink, and she was raped not only by Diddy, but also by Jay-Z. And that when Diddy then tried to come for her again that evening, she grabbed her clothes and ran out, and that her father picked her up at a gas station nearby the home. The father, and I presume she, lived 5 hours away in Rochester, New York. Now, unfortunately for this woman and her lawyer, this guy Busby, some inconsistencies have surfaced in the account. Most notably, that the father comes out and says, "That never happened. I never went and picked her up at any post Diddy party. I think I remember that. I live 5 hours away." And that would seem to be a near insurmountable problem for Mr. Busby in this lawsuit, Mark, but you tell me.
Well, that's when you say inconsistencies, that's about as charitable as you can get. And by the way, I'm going to ask Alex Spiro next time he calls him a Busby, the 1-800 lawyer. I call him the 1-800 Diddy lawyer. I mean, he's out there with the billboards. He's filing things anonymously. And then it turns out when Alex was doing his press conference yesterday, that not only was the description of the house impossible, 20 minutes outside of Manhattan, but virtually everything else about this story was impossible, not to mention, as you said, the father. But this is not the first time that one of these things as to Diddy has fallen apart. I mean, Gloria Allred brought a case that ended up falling apart.
The leaked prison call reportedly sheds light on Jay-Z's calculated plan to distance himself from Diddy. The days of friendship and collaboration seem to be over as Jay-Z, it appears, focused on self-preservation. Sources close to the situation suggest he's willing to shift the blame onto Diddy if that's what it takes to safeguard himself and his family.
I actually followed on one of the TV shows a lawyer who brought 3 cases against Diddy, and he said that 60 people had come to his office talking about Diddy, but the 57 of them were so ridiculous that he didn't take them. Well, that tells you 95% of the people making the claims don't even pass the smell test for a lawyer, yet he's going to take 3 or vice versa. I mean, this is really, at the end of the day, if you look at the Diddy case, and you know, there's almost a service that has been done by them expanding it to Jay-Z. Everybody says there's all these celebrities involved. Well, so far, everybody says any minute the tape's going to drop, the tapes are being shopped, blah, blah, blah. The problem is that was in September. And now we're in December. Not one tape has been released that I have seen. No, not one other person who is an alleged victim has been identified. It's still a one accuser case that's being brought criminally. I think that a lot of this is totally overblown, and there isn't any indication. Everybody keeps talking about the Diddy parties. Where are the tapes of the Diddy parties where this is supposedly going on? Nobody's ever seen it. It's become like the Loch Ness Monster.
And also, but Meg, let's talk about something historical that took place this week. And it's a case that you and I don't know how many stories we did on the original Kendall's court / Kelly's court. The young woman she was young then, accused the Duke lacrosse players of raping
Crystal
her,
Mangum,
has now come out and said, yeah, I made the whole thing up, which is horrible, as what she did was horrible. She's actually just committed like a little bit of a public service to show like, people do make these things up. Everyone's like, oh, make this up out of whole cloth. Oh, it just creates such a story. It never happens. Yeah, it actually does happen. Did happen. Those 4 kids' lives were ruined. Their families ruined, financially wiped out. A DA was brought to his knees out there. It was just, a despicable situation that happened. And now, I don't even know, almost 20 years later, she admits, yeah, I made the whole thing up. And this girl with the Jay-Z thing, I mean, her own father, he goes, yeah, I think I would remember if I drove 5 hours to pick up my daughter from a nightclub. But for Jay-Z, I agree with Mark that he did perform somewhat of a public service when his name came out, and he fought. He said, look, I feel bad for my kids. I feel bad they're going to have to hear about this, but I am not going to be extorted. I'm not giving a penny. I know I didn't do that. And I'll tell you, Mark and I have represented these kinds of people. It is often a lot easier for them to fill out a 3-page document, a non-disclosure agreement, write out a check for an amount of money that's not going to change their quality of life, just make it go away. He probably could have done that here, but he didn't, and good for him.
Yeah, no, Jay-Z is denying it in the strongest terms, and he's responding to this.
At first glance, this might come as a surprise. Jay-Z and Diddy have long been viewed as cornerstones of the hip-hop community, sharing stages, business deals, and personal moments over the years. However, when it comes to self-preservation, friendships can quickly take a backseat. The leaked conversation allegedly reveals Jay-Z's unwavering resolve to protect his name, no matter the cost.
Well, I didn't reach out to him. My mother, she actually wrote the letter. She reached out to Jay-Z and his team. And my godmother helped. They sent him a letter basically saying we can talk privately and have a private conversation and basically have a sit down.
And have they agreed to that then?
No.
Did you get any response?
Yeah, we got a response, but it wasn't about no sit down. It was just basically asking questions, stating like who your mom was in the car with and things of that sort. Do she remember what type of car it was and like stuff like that? Who was the person that was?
So when you got a response like that, did you feel disheartened, or did you think they're probably just doing the job? This kind of thing, probably they get a lot of weird people contacting them.
Yeah, I felt like, I don't know, honestly, I had mixed feelings, but I felt like they were trying to block the truth. I wouldn't say block the truth, but they wasn't trying to never solve the problem. It was never trying to get, my whole thing was getting a problem solved. I didn't ever want to see nobody, throwing shots at another person for something that we could have got taken care of privately. I'm not that type of person, and people could think what they want, but I never wanted this to, harm anyone. We really could have got this done, and he knows this the truth. The team knows this, that we sent letters. We've been fighting for years and years, and someone should know that we're not fighting no fraud. Like, they've been using things in these courtrooms to drag it out and creating narratives that don't exist. And this could have been over with. That's all I'm saying, is that when you treat people like that and you expect someone to just sit there and take it, it's just, you get what you get.
Yeah, it's got to be really frustrating. All right, so let's just go slowly over the years what happened with the legal situation. So you're 16, you reach out, they send this, a response asking all these questions, trying to basically shut you guys down. What happened next after that in terms of communication?
Well, it was very lack of communication. We was basically talking, I guess, to his team. It was never directly to him, so it was always someone from his team or representing him. And after that, it was really just all court action. Like, let's just go to court, go on different states to go to court. Things is just dragging it out. They trying to dismiss cases and we making us file again about the same thing. It was just all craziness that could have really been taken care of. Our legal system is, and I'm not talking about our whole legal system, don't get me wrong, it is some great people in our legal system, but the ones that's not doing their job, like, you guys really need to check and get these people out of there, because it's so much.
To grasp the full picture, it's crucial to understand the stakes. Both Jay-Z and Diddy are facing allegations that could shatter their legacies and potentially lead to prison time. A woman identified as Jane Doe has filed a lawsuit accusing them of horrifying acts at a party years ago. The claims are deeply disturbing and the legal fight is intense. Diddy, already dealing with other legal issues, is under mounting pressure. Meanwhile, Jay-Z appears to be using every resource at his disposal to safeguard himself.
Legal system, like, these guys are overlooking things. They're letting lawyers lie, then come and these lawyers are saying, "Oh, we did lie. We didn't know he had properties." But come on, man, it's just too much going on. You guys are letting them get away with murder, basically, because if these guys don't got to come in here and abide by the law, why should we?
It's corrupt as hell, and if you've got money, you can certainly play the system. That's what I've seen. But all right, so going back over it more slowly, then, you reached out, and then it got shut down, and then it went into the court system. How did it enter the court system? Who initiated that, and how old were you at that point?
I think I was still 16, going on to 17. Who initiated that was my godmother and my mom. It was started in Philadelphia, but my godmom got legal custody over me. I guess when my mom started getting sick, she opened the case back up in New Jersey.
Yeah, that was really heartbreaking when I was listening to your interview, about your mum passing, and our condolences there, definitely.
That's my love right there. I love my mom to death.
Yeah, you've been through a lot. So it enters the court system, and that first thing that was filed then, what happened after that?
Fighting in court. I'm not a lawyer. I wish I could really tell you guys all the details, but just being, someone who's just listening to the fight that's going on. It just was a lot of BS, a lot of craziness, and them bringing up different scenarios and things like that to try to throw the judge off of what was really the paternity and all the fraud and all that came. This case should have been over with. They should have never let it get this far. All the fraud that's in this case, and I just want the world to know, it should have never been sealed. This should be open for the public. It's just a lot of things that's going on that we all know is wrong.
So through the court system then, were you guys asking for like a paternity test?
Yes, we started off asking for a paternity test, and it just went left from there.
And how many years were you fighting in court for?
10 plus now, as I would say, it's 13, 14 years now.
A key revelation from the leaked call is Jay-Z's strategic legal approach. Reports indicate that his legal team is zeroing in on inconsistencies in the accuser's claims. They've filed motions alleging that Jane Doe may have destroyed evidence and pointed out contradictions in her testimony. This aggressive strategy is designed to challenge the credibility of the allegations, emphasizing just how high the stakes are in this case.
Allegations that Jay-Z, Sean Carter sexually assaulted Jane Doe, who was 13 at the time, at an after-party 2000 Video Music Awards. Doe alleges she felt woozy after consuming a drink, then wandered into a bedroom where Carter raped her first, followed by Combs. Carter called the allegations so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one, and said whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. The lawsuit claims Carter responded to mediation requests with a frivolous lawsuit and accusations of harassment against Doe's legal team. It states Jay-Z responded to said letter by orchestrating a conspiracy of harassment, bullying, and intimidation against plaintiffs' lawyers, their families, employees, and former associates in an attempt to silence plaintiff. In his statement to CNN, Carter labeled the mediation effort a blackmail effort and remarked that those lawyers seem to have a pattern of these types of theatrics. Is this their response, Rob?
Yes.
And is this from him? Because he actually responded.
I think because it says my lawyer received a blackmail attempt.
Yeah,
so
this is what it's saying. The internet is saying that this is Jay-Z's response.
Can you zoom in a little bit, Rob?
Sure.
My lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had been calculated as the nature of these allegations and public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir, it had the opposite effect and made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I've read that already. These alleged victims would deserve real justice if it were the case. This lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern. I have no idea how you come to such a deplorable human, Mr. Busby. I promise you, I have seen your kind many times over. I'm more than prepared to deal with your type. You claim to be a Marine. Marines are known for their valor. You have neither honor nor dignity. My only heartbreak is for my family. My wife and I will sit our children down, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims. By the way, very well written. You think he wrote this here?
Yeah.
And explain the cruelty and greed of people. I mourn yet another loss of innocence. Children should not have to endure such at their young age. It is unfair to have to try to understand inexplicable degrees of malice meant to destroy families and human spirit. My heart and support goes to true victims who have to watch how their life story is dressed in costume for profitability by this ambulance chaser in a cheap suit. You have made a terrible error in judgment, thinking that all celebrities are the same. I'm not from your world. I'm a young man who made it out of the projects of Brooklyn. We don't play these types of games. We have very strict codes and honors. We protect children. You seem to exploit people for personal gain. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, physics, will believe this idiotic claim you have leveled levied against me that, if not for the serious surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable. Tom.
So I break this down, and first, it's very subtle. It's very subtle, Vinny, but you can detect Jay-Z indicating, again, you really got to read between.
Diddy's situation seems to be growing more unstable by the day. Unlike Jay-Z, who has made a point of distancing himself, Diddy reportedly hopes that Jay-Z's legal victories could also work in his favor. However, this optimism may be misguided. The leaked call suggests that Jay-Z has no plans to tie his fate to Diddy's. On the contrary, he appears ready to let Diddy take the fall if it means protecting himself.
He's not going to negotiate, right? It's hard to see.
Yeah.
But it looks like he's not going to negotiate. But there's a line in here. I love to dissect these things. And first of all, I think this was written by a spokesperson, taking nothing against Jay-Z and his capabilities. But this really appears to be written by a legal publicist. This is the way they write. This is their style. So one of the things he says is, I implore you to file criminal, not civil. And when I saw that this morning, I didn't have time before the show, but I wanted to look up the statute of limitations, Pat, and to see whether this is chargeable. I don't know. I actually do not know at this hour. But when I see something like that, I go, oh, is this potentially outside the chargeable window? The statute of limitations applies. Because remember what happened two summers ago when they moved the date in New York State, New York City? All those women came out with those Me Too suits because they had a deadline date, remember? Otherwise, the statute of limitations was going to come. That's what I see this. So this is a standard response from a legal publicist. And that can be the words and tone and opinion of Jay-Z, but I think it was written by a legal publicist into the form that they use. Ambulance chaser, cheap suit. All of those are kind of stock words they use. My question is, has the statute of limitations moved on this? Question one. And question two, with all due respect to Jay-Z, there's an awful lot of pictures of you running around in your undies at parties with Diddy. And so you were at some of these parties. It's not like there's no photographs that America's going in, hey, is that a young Jay-Z running around in his underwear with Diddy at a party? Huh. When you see that, it's hard to walk away from that visual.
And so, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this or not. Tony Busby isn't an ambulance chasing. He is probably one of the most successful lawyers in the United States. So I don't believe none of that BS. So I did some digging. So apparently he got sued by an unnamed person. He won't name the person. And this person had hired private investigators to go through Busby's life, talk to ex-employees, ex-clients, because they wanted to get as much dirt on him as possible. And they basically approached him and said, hey, if you don't back down with suing this random person, I think we all know who it is, we're going to expose everything. So you know what he does? He comes out with the Jay-Z alleging raping a 13-year-old girl. And now, again, all allegations, but from what the questioning is with this girl, this 13-year-old girl knows everything about this house, from the driveway to the paint inside the building. She knows everything. And it's like...
She did?
She did. She's saying this in the lawsuit. That's what they're saying, allegedly. But at what point, guys, and I get it, all we always hear is rumors. We never have proof. Every time it comes to these children who are the most neglected people in this freaking country, we know it because of the border and the sex trafficking and all that. When are we going to start listening to some of these people that the media and the left consider crazy? Kanye West tried to warn us about Jay-Z. Cat Williams warned us about Jay-Z and Beyonce. MIA told us about satanic rituals. And I'm telling you from experience, and Adam knows this guy too, they do that type of stuff in Hollywood. I know people that have said firsthand.
Why would Jay-Z take such a hardline approach? The answer lies in the immense power he wields. Jay-Z isn't just a rapper. He's a mogul with ventures in music, fashion, sports, and technology. His name represents success and influence on a global scale. A scandal of this magnitude puts everything he's built at risk. For Jay-Z, survival means staying in control of the narrative and protecting his family at all costs.
If it's just peanut butter, it's just peanut butter. If it's just jelly, it's jelly. When you put it together, it becomes a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and the taste is undeniable.
You saying Diddy and JayZ is peanut butter jelly?
Peanut butter and jelly. Let's deal with the sandwich.
We asked you this last time, and Piers Morgan said it. They're not here to defend themselves. Do you think the Carters will speak about any of this at all? Do you just feel that they'll make any statement about
Beyonce
what's going on?
is losing hundreds of thousands, millions of followers every day. And she still hasn't said anything. Just pretending like life is great in Paris.
Is it her place to say so?
I mean, probably not, considering she's going to be indicted for anything she would say. These are criminals. Diddy is a drug dealer, and so is Jay-Z. The proof is there. How many up people does he have to be around before people see him for who he is?
It seems like these artists are trying to run away from their past. Diddy changed his name multiple times to say, that's not me. I'm trying to move beyond Diddy. I'm Love now. It seems like Jay-Z would try to run away from his past.
Calling that nigga Love and anything that he did love. Brother Love. What kind of love? Baby oil love. Baby love. Baby love. Explicit love. Hey! They never thought that hip hop would take it this far.
Oh man, it's different now.
These lyrics are all hitting different right now. All the people talking about fathers, all kinds of stuff.
So let's just start with Piers Morgan, because there's a headline that went out that was very powerful that people are running with, where it just says Jay-Z is the real monster. Now, before you speak on it, to even get to Piers Morgan, can you explain how that took place and why even take that interview to go forward?
Well, excuse me.
Bless us.
I can't say that I sought it out because I didn't. Truth is we didn't see it coming. But I have to credit Odell.
Got Odeezy.
My love. I have to credit him because since we've combined and joined forces and become a hell of an investigative journalism team. See, I'm the content, I'm the passion, I'm the voice. I'm also the brain, but I do too much by myself. That's the brain. That's the administrator.